Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Benchmarkers Rugby Show. It is me, your co host, Nyasha, and I'm joined by Kumbi, our resident rugby expert. And for those that are new to the show, the way this works is I am I'm a data scientist and I'm an analyst, so I analyze a lot of stats and I try present them in an easy to digest way, and that's hopefully useful. And Kumbi is our rugby expert, even though he denies it. Right, and he puts more of the rugby fan perspective,
Right.
and then together, yeah, we just hope we're building something special. So yeah, Kumbi.
Yeah, welcome back to the show, everyone. As my co-host just mentioned, my name is Kumbi, and even though I'm also a data scientist, with respect to this show, I am the resident rugby enthusiast, right? So we like to stay away from the word specialist, just in case like the actual experts and specialists are in the comments who are watching the show. So so we're just gonna stick to enthusiasts for now, all right? So we are obviously drawing closer and closer to the World Cup, right? Which is obviously good news for the rugby community. This week we're just going to be looking at obviously some more rugby action. So Nyasha, do you want to tell us what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, of course. So we have a big game coming up. Actually, obviously a few big games, but there's only one game we'll be focusing on this episode, which is Ireland versus England. Now, we're not going to touch into any England controversy today, right?
Yeah,
even
unfortunately.
Right, yeah, even I guess everyone has their own opinion on that matter, but it is an interesting one. But yeah, so we're just going to do some analysis, show you some numbers that we ran. Well, some numbers that I ran. I don't allow Kumbi to touch the numbers. Right? Yeah, and he's a brilliant data scientist, but I need my thing. Okay,
there's a bit too much bias when I'm involved.
Right, and if you let him touch some of these team stats, the averages might miraculously shoot up. Now I'm joking, but yeah. So we'll be looking at Ireland versus England. It's just a pre-match analysis. So yeah, Kumbi, I'm going to let you start this one,
right?
Right, as the resident expert, right? I know one of your favorite players does play as a resident enthusiast. I know one of your favorite players does play for the Irish squad. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the upcoming game and things to look out for?
Yeah, right. I think it's obviously at the time that we're recording here. I think it's important just to mention that the squads haven't been announced, right? So by the time I think the video is released, the squads will be out, right? So I think right now it's so like we've said in previous videos, it's a little bit tricky. We don't know what approach these teams are going to take, right? Obviously with England, there's a lot that's been happening. I'm going to go rogue and I'm just going to mention it, just quickly. Right? We know that Owen Farrell, got a red card rescinded by an independent panel, and there's a whole controversy happening, right? So if you're in the rugby community, you've seen everything that's happened. Personally, for me, I think it should have been a ban, but
Yeah.
Obviously, there's all that going on, right? And so we don't know what approaches these teams are going to take, right? So we're going to start with Ireland, like Nyasha said. Ireland is one of my favorite teams to watch. They're the best in the world, ranking wise, at the moment. So obviously they're an exciting team to watch at the minute. So I think what we're going to do, our analysis is going to assume that teams are going to field their best players. Right. So at this point, we're heading closer to the World Cup every week. This is going to be the last time each of these teams has an opportunity to play against a tier 1 team, right? And I think I'm a little bit reluctant to say that because England still have Fiji to play against rather, and Fiji is quite like they're a bit of they're a team to watch for the World Cup. So that's going to be a tough one. Ireland still have Samoa, but I think as far as like top, I'm not sure exactly where England is ranked, but I think maybe top 6 teams. This is the last big opponent for each team before the World Cup. So we're going to assume that both teams are going to field their best teams, really. So so basically the analysis that we're going to be going through is going to be assuming that. And so Nyasha, do you want to tell us what the numbers are basically saying for each team?
Yeah, sure. So, thanks for that. And yeah, that probably should have been a ban, but
Right,
I do
yeah.
agree with you there, right? But anyway, and the other part of me wants to see the best players play,
And I guess that's
and
kind
I
of the
guess as a
problem.
fan,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, and it is a World Cup, so there's there's a conversation to be had. But anyway, just looking at the numbers. So
yeah,
we averaged some numbers that we averaged some numbers for Ireland and England, for the past year or two.
hmm
So we start off by just comparing the two teams, right? And they're actually quite comparable except for their records, right? They
right,
each average, just about 4 tries per game, and three conversions, right? Although England concedes less penalties Ireland concedes less penalties than England on
right.
average.
Yeah,
Although their form in the last 5 games, obviously Ireland is unbeaten,
right.
right, with 5 wins in a row, and England three losses. Now, as far as the predictions we have for this upcoming weekend, Ireland has a 73% chance of winning
That is high.
with it is high.
Yeah, you
It
see,
is
that's
high.
why I have to stay away from the data because I would have tweaked it just a little bit, just maybe like a 60 something, in Ireland's favor. But that's why I stay away from the numbers.
Yeah. But then one thing to note is obviously when a team is in such good form, the
Right,
model will favor them highly,
100%.
right?
And they're
And
at home.
uh, yeah, world number one, they're at
Right.
home,
Yeah,
and they have good form, right?
100%.
So I also remove my bias for many of the models, and often you'll find that when the market odds eventually come out, they're higher, right? So they might give
Right,
Ireland, an 80%. I'm not saying that's what will happen, but that's often what we've observed, 80,
right.
90%. Right. So definitely we're more on the conservative side. So the next part is the winning model. So this part looks at how Ireland performs when they win and then compares it to their last game, and the same for England. I'll start off with Ireland, and Kumbi, you'll give me your thoughts before we
Yeah,
go to England.
right,
So obviously just looking at this, they average 8 offloads a game, but the last game they had 8 line breaks. And the last game they had 4, so 50% drop. 21 defenders beaten on average, with the last game on 19. 125 passes compared to 216 the last game. This one's quite interesting. 53% possession, but last game, they had significantly more possession, 7 points up, and 24 kicks on average to 18. So generally, these are the KPIs they're dominating when they're winning. I don't select these. These are selected by the model as important KPIs
yeah.
specifically for Ireland. So yeah, man, what are your thoughts on these numbers?
Right. I think, well, obviously, the first thing I'm just going to add a disclaimer is it's a
Yeah,
bit hard to look into these numbers as well. I think, looking at the last game and then, trying to determine whether that's going to be how they play the next game because last game they didn't play their best side. I'm assuming this game, Ireland,
mm,
I think, Ireland is probably going to play their, star players compared to, England, maybe not so much, but I think Ireland is going to field a much stronger side. So I think
yeah,
usually you'll find that in the last, because they've actually won, I know we've looked at the last 5 games, but they've actually won all 6 of their games so far this year. So yeah,
yeah,
so basically their model is just it's a simple model, right? It's just so they rely on kicking in order for them to restructure the defense. But once the defense is restructured, right now they've got like massive ball carriers running through, like Doris, who we looked at a couple of episodes ago, and also
yeah,
they also rely on their playmakers. I mean, guys just to run off their playmakers, short balls, and you also have guys running around in loops and all that stuff. So
yeah,
they like to kick, and then from their kicking game, they have a good offloading and running game as well. So I think it's very so basically that's what Ireland does, right? So I think it
yeah,
makes the numbers kind of make sense, the average numbers. But I think the difference that you're seeing in the last game was the fact that they weren't playing the top guys as well. So I think that's where the disparity comes from there. Yeah.
Okay.
So nice. That is Ireland.
Right, now for England, and you'll see with England, they're different KPIs, because again these are selected by the model based on what's important for this particular team to win.
Right.
So when they win, right, when they win, these are the most important KPIs, and you see a few of them are different. Like offloads aren't there, but just looking into it, starting off with defenders beaten, right, 24. With obviously the last game being 18. Lineouts 1, right? So the model identified as these being really important for England. On average, they win 11 lineouts, which is a lot. Last game, although there was a bit of a drop with 8, line breaks 8 and scrums 1, 5, right? Which again, and in their last game they won 6, so pretty much about the same. Again, passing obviously really important, but obviously that's quite important for a lot of teams, unless if you're maybe a predominantly kicking team, at least as far as what I've noticed from the model. Right, so they had 135 passes to 129, again percentage wise around about the same, and territory, which is actually quite similar to Ireland's average, right, only 1% above with 54%, and their last game they had 62%. So Kumbi, would you say these KPIs are important for England? And essentially like describe their style and your thoughts on them.
Yeah, I think so. Basically, what this model is basically saying is when England win, they get, because what we're noticing is instead of having offloads, we now having like things like lineouts and scrums and all these things. So like when England win, that means that they get their set piece right. Look at I think once again, we also have analysis looking at the last game. That one was a little bit tricky to look at because Wales just got everything wrong in that game. Their lineout was in shambles. Their scrum, like everything was just getting reset. So it's a little bit hard to look at that. But I think once again, it comes, the model then sees, okay, when England get their set piece right, when they dominate over the opponent, that's when they get their win. And I think compared to Ireland, I think England, that's the first and foremost. You can say that about any team really, but I think they need to get the upper hand against Ireland when it comes to the set piece. Lineouts and scrums, right? So I think even though the KPI for Ireland didn't really, look at things like lineouts and all these things, they do. I'd probably say they've got a better set piece, but England does rely on their set piece a little bit more. So I think that's what the KP. So the KP, So basically, what we're seeing on the field and what the numbers and the KPIs are telling us is basically the same thing. So so we'll basically see how it plays out over the weekend.
I know the squads haven't been announced, but how do you think the fans will, at least in Ireland, they'll receive they'll receive England after that red card? How do you think
I need to hear them booing. I need to hear some boos because for my couch, I'm definitely going to be booing, especially because we don't know how things are going to play out. I do think England might feel, because they've played the last 2 games, they've played a strong squad. I think they might play a little bit of a weaker squad, maybe. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
But if Owen Farrell is on the field, I expect a lot of boos. So booze as in boo, not alcohol, but just thought I'd clarify that. Right. So I do expect a little bit of a hostile environment, maybe. I mean, maybe not expect. Hope might be a bit of a better word. So
violence.
I expect some violence, exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll be surprised if he's playing, to be honest. It may just be a little bit too soon.
They might, but I think they might conserve him just because of that. I think they might just it's
exactly. Exactly. I mean, he's had his warm up, and sports fans have a very short memory, right? So by the time the World Cup comes, we're all happy, watching the games in France. I don't think a lot of people will remember.
I don't know about that. But
no, but imagine the commentary team starts poking at it, like they would in soccer. Definitely, so just in fact I hope so. I'm pretty sure the commentary team, at least this side, we'll mention a thing or two.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely. Yeah,
Actually,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, no, they have
but
to.
if Shade is thrown, no, but if Shade is thrown, I'll be enjoying it. I'll be enjoying it.
Right.
Right now, I don't even know if I need to ask you this, but I just will. Who do you think will win this game?
No, I think the odds make sense. I think Ireland is going to win, especially because, like we said, especially if the squads come out and Ireland has a strong side and England is basically a little bit more. They want to give minutes to their more, to the guys who need the minutes. I think plus Ireland is at home. I think it's just the
Yeah.
skeptical side of me that just always wants to stay away from numbers like like in the 70s. Probably just want to stay in the 50s and 60s, perhaps. But yeah. But I do think Ireland's going to win. It's going to win this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope those 50s and 60s aren't you thinking about your university grades, because when as soon as you said above 50, it's
Yeah,
like, you know
right.
what?
That's all we're looking for.
Anything above 50 is good.
Then we're happy.
Okay, cool. Obviously, the other big game, Wales versus South Africa, with Wales with a 37.2% chance of winning, and South Africa with a 59% chance of winning. I think that makes sense. I don't know about you.
Oh, that might be a tricky one. That might be a tricky one. I'll probably,
Really?
if I were a betting man, right, and I'm not, but if I were a betting man, and I'll if the odds were like this, like I would put my money on Wales here. Listen, don't take my word as law, but I think South Africa's approach might be a little bit different. I don't know if they want to field their best team here or against the All Blacks. Plus, South Africa's a very unconventional team. You never know what's going to happen. And Wales just had a terrible game in the last game. They might want to redeem themselves, and I think they're going to play a stronger side this week as well. So yeah, I would put my money on Wales here if the odds are against them. Yeah, my money would be on Wales.
Yeah, you see, a part of me does wish they field a weaker squad, because they already have significant injuries. I mean, with just Pollard not being there, and so can they risk more big players? Like,
Right.
I think of all the top teams. I mean, obviously France just took some hits.
Oh, that was a massive one.
Right. However, I think South Africa's right at the borderline of a good enough squad. I think any more big players, I might personally just have to write them off. But yeah, so obviously Ireland and England we've discussed. France and Fiji, right? That one, France with an 81% chance of winning to Fiji's 16. I would say no surprises there, at least on my part. And Italy versus Romania, with Italy having a 79% chance to Romania's 18%. And the last two, Georgia versus USA. Georgia with the 69%, basically 70% chance of winning, against 27% for the USA. For such a large country, I think very soon they'll have a competitive squad. If they tap into their just their numbers, really.
You're right. Yeah.
Right, and then Uruguay versus Argentina 15, with Argentina favored to win at 65% and 32% for Uruguay. Are there any predictions here that you disagree with, or a bit surprising?
I'll be curious to see two. I think that Uruguay and Argentina 15, because I don't know if this is not going to even be Argentina's World Cup squad, so that might be I might be mistaken on that, but I might put Uruguay is a very exciting team to watch, so that's I'll be very interested in that one. And then Fiji versus France, once again, it's I've said it I think like 500 times in this video now. We don't know what approach France is going to take. I don't think they're going to field their best team, especially since they lost Roman Intermark. So I don't know. I think Fiji Fiji might be able to. I'll give Fiji some high chances in that game. But yeah, injuries are very important. Like it's very important to consider the injuries. There've been a lot. Like Intermark, Van Poorvliet from England, and Lucanio South
Yeah.
Africa's a lot. It's been a lot. Australia has just been hit by injuries every single game. So I think, it's the injuries are something that the coaches are going to need to consider. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see when the teams come out, when the guys go on the pitch to play, how it plays out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if Fiji wins and Wales wins,
Yeah.
right? I think we'll change the name from You become the Oracle. And pretty much at that point, you become the Oracle.
Yeah, listen,
Right?
the chances of that happening are quite low, so it's fine. Yeah, Well, I know from next week we're still going to stick with enthusiasts, so that's
Okay.
I don't give these teams. I'm just hoping they win. Really.
Okay. Well, right. I think that is it for this week. Thank you for joining us. If you have
Absolutely.
any comment suggestions, or just things you'd like us to look at, feel free to leave a comment, any analysis you think will be interesting.
Absolutely.
Again, feel free to leave a comment. So from myself, I'll say goodbye. Enjoy your weekend, and Kumbi.
Yeah, same with me. Thank you for everyone watching, and please also leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and yeah, and we'll see you next week.
All that good stuff.
All that good stuff. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
That was good, man.
Yeah,
That was good.
How long was that?
That was.